Oh, we have sound now? Okay, good, great. Okay, man, I think I might have just had a blonde moment and had my mic turned off. Okay, yep, my bad, guys, totally my bad. This little Samsung little microphone thingy has an on and off switch that I knew was there, but I didn't think it was ever turned off. So, alright, we're going to just blame that on a total blonde moment. Okay, anyways, alright, good. Now that we got that working, thank God for that. Let me make sure I posted this into our Telegram for those guys over there. Damn, man, I can't believe that shit just happened. That's embarrassing. A freaking power button. I'm sitting here playing with settings and putting it in different USB ports and everything. Oh. Alright, so let's get this started then, since we've wasted probably like a good 45 minutes just trying to get the sound on. Okay, so we are looking at altcoins today. We'll do some Bitcoin and Ethereum at the end, and we'll try to get through these relatively quickly so we don't take up everybody's afternoon or anything. Alright, so first thing I want to look up, the first 30 minutes, yeah. Okay, so let's look at market cap, or the Bitcoin dominance. This is really, really important right here for alts to play, and we see this channel, this rising wedge channel that the dominance has been in. Now this is really good right here. This is a really good sign down here for dominance. So what anybody new that doesn't know what dominance is, this is the dominance that Bitcoin holds over altcoin. So as the dominance increases, alts bleed, and alts don't play. So we want to see this drop and drop and drop, because that means that Bitcoin has less dominance over altcoins, and altcoins will start to moon and make everybody lots of money and all that wonderful stuff again. So we're seeing some really good signs right here on the weekly dominance so far. MACD bear cross here. Our OBV went bearish. RSI looks like it's in the shitter. We respected this upper trend line here and we're rejecting. Love this curl over right here. Let me just highlight that out right there. Loving this curl over. So right now we're at 69, and this is looking really, really good on the weekly time frame. So one of the main points that I'm going to be looking at breaking is about this right here. I want to see us really start to break below 66. Twitch, holy crap, Twitch is in a live stream. Haven't seen Twitch in a live stream in quite some time. So this is going to be a very nasty support for dominance to break, and I think once we break down below here and get into the lower 60s, we're going to see some really good altcoin movements. So I would like to see a bounce and then back up just a wee bit, and then I want to see this wedge break. Now again, this is on a weekly time frame, so this is roughly going to be most of October right here. That I want to see this lower 60 area tested. So you can see the bottom of these candles over here matching the tops of these wicks, and the bottom of these wicks here is a pretty good support area that we're going to see dominance bounce on. So dominance is looking good for altcoins. Let's go to CoinTrader Pro, and I want to look at altcoin market cap. Okay, so different chart structure than, you know, regular trade view. Still relatively close. Oh, we got a nasty drop right there in our broke that trend line. I was hoping to see something, a little bit more money coming into altcoins, but we look like we still came down and still hit a support zone right there. And if we're holding this right here, we can see the tops of this area. Where is my shit? Okay, so I'd like to see, this looks like it's pulling an SR flip right here, support resistance flip right there. MACD's looking pretty good. Okay, so what this chart is, if anybody isn't familiar with, this is the altcoin market cap. So this is going to be really important to watch, as we're going to see whether if money is entering the altcoin market or leaving the altcoin market. So we got a good first pop. This was August, September, when we saw a couple 100% or 200% runs, and then a nasty fall off. So it looks like a lot of money left altcoins. Up until recently, it looks like it's kind of bottomed out and found some support. So I want to see something a little bit stronger there. What we look like on a weekly time frame. Still in a nasty downtrend on the weekly. Ooh. 3-day looks a little better, so maybe we get some support here for the weekly chart to hold. We want to see some money coming back into alts right here. I want to see us get back above this area right here. I mean, overall, altcoins on their weekly charts are looking pretty bullish. So let's go look at some. Let's go check out WAN right now. WAN's one of the calls in the channel. I think Noza and I both agree that WAN chain looks pretty good. Alright, so let's zoom out to the chart. Alright, let me redraw this. Alright, so this is what we had charted. Great respect of the trend line here. Many multiple touches here, and we're still respecting that trend line. I don't count wicks on high time frames. I don't really count wicks in general. So we're still respecting the trend line, which is really good. This is one stubborn ass resistance line. Look at all the rejections right here on this wick. See all these wicks right here and all these candle tops here. I mean, this is a nasty, stubborn ass resistance line right here. So this is our breakout point. We have got to start breaking. Uh-oh, did I move that up a little bit? Yeah, rough. Close enough. We have got to start getting low time frame closes over 2,600 Satoshi in order for this to move. Otherwise, we're going to linger, probably still come back and test this support trend line again and something of that nature. So this could be making, if it does this pattern right here, this is going to make one giant cup and handle. So let's see if that plays out that way. Something like that. So if we respect this trend line and eventually going into the middle towards the end of the month and we get that last push up, or not the last push up, but we get this nice big push up here to retest at least, I want to see us come up this high. So the top, test the top of these candles matching the bottom of these wicks over here. I would like to see that come up for a cup and handle play. And then we'll back down for the handle and then off she goes. And we zoom out. 2-day kind of supports this. Look at the 2-day getting ready to cross bull here. So I'm still going to hold on to WAN here. It's just being really, really annoying and being really, really patient. So it doesn't look bad yet. There's no major breakdown. I would start to get concerned if we start dropping below about 2,300 again. So let's look at Binance. Okay, and let's look at the order books. Order books are important. Alright, so, okay, so here we are on WAN. We got some decent bid support down here. This is all moved up. Look how thin this is. Outside of 2480, there's not much above. So we got some good bid support going all the way down. Look at our big mountain right here, all the way back up to about 2460, and then back here up in the 2400s. So we got good bid support back here. So let's look at sale walls. I mean, look how thin this is. This is ridiculously thin. So a couple scattered walls, but nothing really to be concerned about. And you see this big cliff, this big dive off last time. If you guys remember, when you see something like this kind of steep cliff on the order books when you're looking at sale walls and stuff, this is one giant wall. So let's see where 2600 is. And there it is, about 0.8 BC Bitcoin right there. So we got a decent wall there. But other than that, this looks like one wall, 2, 3, and then these are all kind of scattered. So there's not really a whole lot of resistance on the way up. And it looks like they're slowly moving these bids up because, let me go back to the chart here. You can see we're putting in higher lows. So as we put in higher lows, so do the bids. So that's what I'm seeing on WAN. Nothing major breaking down there, and I'd like to see a very nice cup and handle play out. I just hope it doesn't drag out all the way until the end of the month, because that would really piss me off. Okay, let's go to Komodo. Twitch wants me to look at a Forex coin. All right, if we got time at the end, we can. Forex is definitely Satoshi's foray, but I mean, we can look at it. A chart is a chart. Okay, so KMD, we had the ascending triangle here. We had an ascending triangle here, and I think at one point we had something like this. I think we had something like that in the calls channel, and it looks like we finally broke above the top of that trend line there, and now we're coming back to test for support resistance flip. So we want to see now. I want to see about 720, 725-ish holds. I want to go as far as maybe even saying, I think that may be a little too low, but we'll consider that. Okay, so this is our rebuy zone that we want to see. We don't want to start seeing some lower lows here. So you can see here, here's a low, higher low, another higher low, and another higher low. So if we start breaking below 712, that would be a cause for concern. So we want to see about 720 and above hold. This is definitely coming down for a reset, though. Look at that 12-hour MACD right there. Well, I am going to set this one on the sidelines. I'm going to watch how it plays out. I'm just not liking the higher time frames. On the other hand, though, I do like the weekly. Look at the weekly right there. This is itching to cross bull. So let's see. Today is Saturday. So tomorrow's a new weekly candle. So we should cross bull tomorrow. It looks very, very likely that it's going to. Let me zoom into the candles here. Turn on my moving averages. Let me clean up some of this. Okay, so look where our 7-day moving average is right here. Okay, so you can see it barely just creeping out behind the bottom of this candle. So I would expect now for the 7-day moving average to come out behind that candle like that, and then maybe we're going to range right here in this box for the next week on that next weekly candle before we get a continuation pattern up. And I say that again because of this right here. We are about to cross bull on the weekly. Our RSI is looking for being an uptrend. OBV is an uptrend. So all the indicators are in an uptrend. But because of the lower time frame showing some bearishness, I would expect us to kind of ride right here in the support zone, maybe even as low as 700 Satoshi for a wick. Other than that, these targets are still valid. But right now, because of these low time frames, I'm going to sideline Komodo and maybe pick back up if I see the support zone hold right here. Otherwise, we may come back down and test closer to 700 off of the 200-day moving average there. So that's Komodo. Sidelining this one. All right, so let's move on to O&T. Ontology. I think both Noza and I like this play. Okay, so this was our earlier call. I think we were calling this back down here, sub 700 Satoshi here. And it looks like it got a very good, nice first push up here close to the 800s. Okay, now look where we fell back to hold for support. Now, I've already kind of marked these with the arrows here. And I think I mentioned this quite a few times in chat and everything, that if you miss the first impulse waves or the first major pushes or first pushes or whatever, don't fret, don't worry, because they're going to fall back to support zones just off the bottom. So we can see that here. You see this little confluence here and meeting this confluence here off of the bottoms of these wicks here. So we got that first push, and now we fell back into that support zone, and it looks like we got a little bit of accumulation pattern. Now 2 hour here, this looks pretty ugly, so we'll get a better chance to get a buy-in. We're going to go for a little reset here. My mouse is kind of sensitive. Okay, so look at our OBV here. Our OBV is negative. Our MACD is a wee bit overextended here. So I think we're going to come back and maybe test probably in the 730s, 740s. Now I know they've been walking the bids up on this, because I mean there is some crazy bids going on with O&T. All right, so we got pretty stacked bids all the way to about 710 or so. Look at all this. Just look how stacked that is, and then look at the sell side. It's not as thick on the sell side. So I've watched the order books here, and they're walking these bids up, because these bids were down here in the 720s and 730s just as of yesterday or so. So O&T is in an uptrend overall. I want to see a quick small reset here, maybe pick up some more. Daily chart is in full bull mode. Look at the cross right there. Got that bull cross, got that small reset on the MACD. Now we're crossing back bull, and look at that. That's a nice, strong push right there. So I want to see just that quick, small dip back down to about the 740s, 750s or so. Let me turn on the moving averages. Bam. Yeah, I got Theta up here too. We're going to look at Theta. Theta's another really, really strong looking chart. I really, really like the looks of Theta. Okay, so again, fell back to this major support zone. Now we got our 7-day moving average rounding up. Look at the price candle pushing over the 20-day moving average right there. This is a really strong motion. However, it needs a wee bit of a stronger close. We don't want to see a close too far below that candle. So we have to watch again how this 2 hour reacts. You can see it just wicked right there perfectly off of the 20-day moving average and the 200-day moving average right there. So far that is holding support there. The bids look good. However, I just don't like the MACD here. This looks like it wants to come back and reset. So maybe it just, I don't know, maybe it slow grinds or something and then builds a new support base before pushing up. But other than that, O&T looks really, really strong. Let's look at its weekly. Very, very strong weekly. Oops. Okay, OBV is back bull. Here's our 7-day moving average. This is what I was looking at on Komodo's weekly chart. So the 7-day moving average on Komodo is like right here behind the candle somewhere. So I would expect a reset, hopefully, probably on Komodo, so I can get a cheaper rebuy in. And then now look at this candle here. Our 7-day has rounded up. Very nice, strong candle. So I expect over the next few weeks or so to start getting some fairly bullish upward movement, probably to come up here and test this 20-day moving average on the weekly here. So we got good 40% potential there for O&T. Depends on I mean, it looks pretty strong as of now. I just don't want to start, oh, we're going to go up here for, you know, 100, 200% gains, because we want to stay conservative and shoot for some conservative targets. So our first major resistance is going to be off of the 20-day moving average for the weekly. So ONT is a good swing hold. It looks much cleaner and better on Binance Mobile. This looks much, much stronger. So ONT looks like a really, really good play. All right, let's move on to waves. All right, waves is another fairly good, strong one. Okay, so like ONT, I don't like the lower time frames. I mean, this MACD here is just itching for a reset. We are way overextended there, and you can see the bearish divergence right here on the RSI. There we go. Okay, so look how the RSI is rejecting at the same, well, I don't want to say price point, but the same point, I guess you could say, right off of this trend line. At the same time, our price is making a higher high. So our price is making a higher high, but our RSI is not making a higher high. So this is a bearish divergence. It can actually be considered an exaggerated bearish divergence because this RSI rejects at the same point rather than making a lower high each time. So exaggerated or not, it's still a divergence. It's still going to play the same way. So I want to see now, we got this breakout point here, so I want to see us now retest this little area right here at about 1100 or so and try to catch some support. So we want to see the trends here. We want to see just, you know, making higher lows here all the way up and just kind of walk these prices up. Let's see, I think they're doing the same thing with the bids on theta too, or not theta, sorry, waves. Not too bad of a bid support there. Okay, so this is 1050. I don't think it's going to go that low. I can maybe see about 1080. So this right here is that 1080 1100 range, and it's fairly thin all the way up until about 1200 satoshi. So here's the bid support. You can see it's nice and stacked like ONT. They're walking it up. And as they're walking it up, they're getting these filled as well. And you can see the sell side. I don't know why this goes from like light pink to dark pink as I move my mouse over it. But not much. It looks pretty thin. So got a little confluence zone at 1150 all the way up to about 1200. There's about a whole Bitcoin worth right there. So waves looks pretty good. Again, I don't like the lower time frames. I want to see this drop a little bit more. All right, let's go look at daily. All of these targets still stand, by the way, guys. These targets here that I got plotted, they're still valid. I want to see them play out. Now, here is what I really like here. Look at this strong candle body over the 20-day moving average right here. So the 20-day moving average is this blue line right here. Okay, so this is a strong candle push, and look at this candle right here. This is a candle close, 2 candle bodies over the 20-day moving average with the 7-day showing an uptrend with the price action and everything. Everything right here is just in a very nice uptrend. I just want to see a little bit of a reset for those lower time frames. But waves looks pretty strong. Looks really strong on the weekly. However, again, look at the 7-day. I want to see price above the 7-day moving average. I want to see some price candles above that weekly moving average right there. And this is pretty interesting right here too. Look at the 2-week. Look at the 2-week trying to round out bull. So granted, this is 2 weeks. So each one of these little histograms is 2 weeks. So if this crosses over bull, I'm going to say probably by Thanksgiving, maybe roughly, when this actually crosses over, waves could be could make a pretty significant comeback. Because look at this. Okay, so this was the last time Waves had a significant push, and this was November of last year off of the Microsoft partnership. So you can see the sale candles right here. Let me just go ahead and delete all of those. Okay, so look how small these candles are, these little doji candles. This is very, very suggestive that selling pressure is done. It's done. It's over with. And now we see our first bullish candle right there on the 2-week time frame since November of last year. This is a very, very strong sign right here for Waves to begin to make its reversal move. So we're just going to see this kind of round out and play out right into about that November time frame, and this is going to just catch a very, very nice reversal. So I want to see on a much, much higher time frame for a long swing play. I want to see that looks very plausible by the end of next month, roughly. This looks very, very plausible to retest this broken support right there. Alright, so let me put back my old stuff. Waves looks Gucci, guys. I like Waves. Waves is a really good swing trade. Scalp this if you can on the way up, or you can just hold it and just play for a month or so. Maybe Satoshi can, I don't know, put an EW count on it or something, and we can just play it up or something like that. But I like Waves. Waves is going to be a good call and one that we're going to follow. All right, roll into Theta. Okay, so this is the news that Theta came out with just the other day. So, backed by Sony, Theta Labs, and Little Star. I don't know what Little Star is. I hadn't had a chance to dive into it. But they partnered with Little Star to drive content to 100 million PlayStation consoles worldwide. So I think I'm going to read about this this afternoon or whatever. But the fact that they are backed by Sony and Theta is going to be bringing content to PlayStation is a pretty big deal. So I'm really excited to see what this is going to be, or how this is going to turn out. So this is the chart for Theta that we've had for probably a month now. I think we charted this back around here near the bottom of this move here, and so far this has played out 100% perfect. Just exactly how I charted it back in September. So we have this descending triangle, and we have a coiling pattern of the price candles within this, and is respecting the trend line in both directions. So we're respecting that wedge. And now look at our MACD here. We got a nice, good, strong bull cross. OBV is still showing an uptrend, so I do expect this to play out pretty well exactly like it is. I don't see anything that we need to change on this as far as targets or anything. Maybe let me stretch that out over there or something. Now again, this is a 2-day chart. Even zooming into the 1-day. Look at the MACD even. MACD is in an uptrend, so I don't see anything at all wrong with MACD or anything on this. Weekly still looks good too, guys. Now somebody asked about Ren, and I think I said, and when I looked at Ren's chart, it almost looked identical to Theta right here, and then Ren had that big push up, and then now I think Ren is right here in this area, and we can look at that in a second too, but I think Ren is almost an identical chart right here to Theta. Let's see if we can pull up the comparison here. Pretty damn close. So this is Ren right here in the orange. You can see it follow the same pattern. Theta with the big push, and then Ren with the big push, and then Theta right here, and then look at Ren right here. So now, I mean, Ren looks damn near identical to Theta. If I can close that out. Okay, so no change on Theta. Theta is following perfectly. Now look at the pinch right here. Look at all of our moving averages converging right here in this area here, and look at that candle trying to push up above over the 20-day moving average. Looks pretty strong. Want to see a little bit more buying pressure and get a close over that 1050 mark, and then theta is off to the races. So I think theta is a good swing trade. Let's see if anybody doesn't have a bag, if we can get a good entry. Yeah, low time frames are all going to pretty well look the same on a lot of these. So we're over all of the major moving averages here for theta. Over the 20-day, over the 200. Again, this is 2 hour. So I think we're going to stay over that 1,000 Satoshi mark. So grab a bag and let that puppy ride. All right, so let's go look at Bitcoin. Let's go see what the big boys are doing. Okay, so I think the last update, I know I've kind of been slacking on this, on Bitcoin anyways. I've had a pretty busy last few days. So this falling channel here, I think was the last update, and I think we were down here when I charted it last and updated. Let me take a look real quick. Okay, so let's look here. All right, so this looks like about the third or the fourth here, the last time that we charted Bitcoin. And I had the channel play, and we wicked down here just below that support zone that we had been waiting days on that finally hit, and then we were looking for that pop-up right there, so we're right on track with that. Right on track. I mean, just absolutely beautiful. So I think we're still well on our way to test some lower support zones down here. This looks pretty nasty here. I don't see any strength in the OBV or the MACD here. RSI is almost bottoming out, but I wouldn't be surprised to come down here and see a wick test, maybe support down here, right around 7,900, 7,920 or so. Let me see if what Satoshi's got in his chart, and see if we're still pretty on point with each other, because we usually are. Wow, okay, look at that. Satoshi is right on point. We are right on point with one another again. He's got 78.81, so that's roughly, maybe even, yeah. So again, you know, Satoshi and I are right on point with one another. Different methods, different styles, but our targets are pretty well on point. Now, of course, one thing to consider is this looks like XBT, so this is probably BitMEX price. And of course, this is Binance. So there may be that $20 or $30 difference between the two, but our target areas are still right on point with one another. So we're both want to see somewhere down here off the bottom of these wicks here to catch support and see if we respect this channel. So his target would probably put that wick right there at 78.90 on Binance price. So we can bring that down. Great. Okay, so this is what I see for Bitcoin. We're respecting this channel. We're about to break this $8,000 mark right here, because this is a pretty nasty drop candle right there. So let's see if 4 hour backs that up. Not seeing the strength right here in the 4 hour either. Still in heavy downtrend. OBV looks weak as shit right here. It's trying to cross bull, trying to stay up bull, but you see it kick back down right there. So it's going to go back under, and this drop candle is pretty nasty. So we still got about another 1.5 to 2% left to drop for Bitcoin to find some support. So once again, yep, me and Satoshi are right on point with one another. I'm not shocked. I don't know how we always manage to be on the same page, given, you know, his Elliott waves and I'm just the price action trader, but it's pretty incredible. All right, so let's see what he's got for F. Hold on, I'm gonna do F real quick for myself. All right, so let's look at Ethereum and see what Ethereum is doing. Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, I don't think my play is gonna work out here. So I had we were in a nice rising channel, and I think, let me see if at one point, I had something like this, but this could be a failed fifth wave. Again, don't count my waves. That's not accurate as hell. I know it's not. But if this were to play out, and this is as far as we got, this can be either considered a failed fifth wave or a truncated fifth. And obviously it's not going to play out. So we have to reassess our damage. So if we break this trend line right here, it's going to get pretty ugly, and we're going to fall back. And let's see, if we break this trend line, I'm pretty sure we're going to break this support too. So we may as well fall all the way back down here to about $160, right where I had that marker right there. So let's see what Satoshi's got. We'll see what he's got. Yep, look at that again, right on point. So this looks like, well, no, this is about 165 right here. So again, this is an hourly time frame also. This is 2 hours, so yeah, okay, I can believe that. Right down here, so this is where he's got his support line. So now we just build a support zone. So again, we're on the same track with one another. He's got about 165, 166 right there. Anywhere from 161 to 165 on my chart. So we're pretty well on point. This looks like it's no longer going to be valid if we break this trend line. So we'll have to reevaluate there. We can even, I could see, look at the respective trend line right there that we can draw. And we just created a new descending channel. Okay, see how I did that, guys? For any of you newbies out there. Okay, so you can see the wicks in these candles up here all kind of just magically line up with one another, making a lower high. So this was a very easy trend line to draw the top of this channel, and then we just do the same here. We got 1, 2, 3 touches there to create the bottom of our channel. You can maybe even squeeze something like that in. I don't like that as well, though. Okay, so from that wick to that wick to this wick, and then moving on down. So if we break this channel, which looks like it's very plausible because this is not a pretty good channel or a pretty good candle right there, then Satoshi and I are going to be on point again with testing down in this lower support zone. Okay, so if you guys got any requests, shout them out. Let me know. We can look at whatever coin you guys want to look at. I think Satoshi and I have like telepathy or something. We can like read each other's minds with two completely different styles of trading. Because our targets, I don't even have to look at Satoshi's charts to know that his targets are going to be on point with mine about 9 times out of 10. So let's take some requests. If you guys got any, just type them in. We'll look at whatever coin you guys want to. Let me get rid of all this crap here. No, I don't want to delete that. I think our RVN Raven coin was a request. Oops. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Look how Raven coin looks almost identical to Theta right here. Let me pull Theta's weekly back up. Okay, so look at Theta here, making this big accumulation pattern, big pump up, and then this is where roughly about Raven coin is right there. Okay, so here is the accumulation pattern, here's the big push, and Raven is kind of settling in. It looks like, no, I'm sorry, not Raven, that's Ren. Raven is a little different, but it looks like we're going to get a bull cross right here. So the way that the MACD works, guys, is when a MACD has just crossed, see where these histograms are, where they line up right here. Let me draw a line. Okay, so this is the neutral line right here at 0. You can see that, okay? So after an uptrend, when the MACD comes down and crosses under this and it looks like it's going to curl back up, don't expect to get another major push. Okay, that's not the way the MACD works. So the MACD is going to come down like it's doing here. It's going to get a small reset up, and then it's going to just kind of work its way back down to get a deeper reset. So when you're keeping that in mind with price action, the price action is going to do the same thing. So we don't want to look for any kind of major, any kind of major high up targets. So we could probably just go as high as 625 or so and then fall back down. So we're going to tap into some weekly resistance right up here somewhere around 600, 625 or so for Raven. And it looks like it's well on its way right there. Very nice round out, and I wouldn't expect higher than about 600 or so. That's about all I can see for Raven. Let's see if it's got a buy-in chance somewhere. That may even be a little too high. We can even consider right there between 509 and somewhere up here at 600. So Raven is not a bad play. It doesn't look too shabby right here. This almost looks right here. This almost looks like an Adam and Eve pattern. Okay, so this pattern right here almost looks like an Adam and Eve. And I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, just zoom into the picture, please. That's not what I wanted. Alright, it's not showing up the right way I wanted. I want to see this like real big, but you can see the drop down and then it pushed to first resistance and then pulled back and then rounded out just like this is doing here. I see what Raven is doing the same thing. So here's the drop down, push to the first resistance up here, and then look at this rounding out channel that it's doing, and now it's going to come up and retest that channel at about 500 or so, 500 Satoshi. So this looks like a textbook Adam and Eve, and notice how I saw that pretty quick. That was a pretty easy pattern to spot. Okay, so let's go look at Ren. So if Raven, I think Musclehead is the only one in Raven, I would be looking at anywhere close to 500 to start taking some profit on that. Okay, so Ren. There we go. Okay, so now we can see accumulation pattern, first push, and now we got that little kickback. Now look how almost identical that looks like to Theta. That's what I wanted to show you guys. That's what I was looking at. So Ren, if it does the same as Theta here, which looks very plausible, you can see up here, got that small little push. Okay, so yep, I mean, even look at the MACDs here. Okay, so we got that first pink histogram here, so that puts that should put it roughly right there. So this should kind of range up in this area here. But if you look, we're already hitting some resistance. Okay, so look at this resistance right here, guys. We're hitting some major, pretty good confluence zones right here, hitting a lot of these candles. So let's zoom down into the daily time frame and see how much more we got more to push. Okay, so now we could probably start setting some targets, and that looks good there. I think we still had this channel here. I don't know what happened to it. Let me zoom in a little bit more. I think I had something like this as a channel. Let me see here. OT Ren. Alright, there it is. So this channel still looks pretty well in play for Ren. There's still a high possibility of hitting that upper channel there. Let's see, 555 to 603, and we're already at 545. So I think we had this trend line here. There it is. Okay, so you can see the respect to the trend line there, matching there. Now we're using it as a backline test for resistance there. I don't know why the chart didn't say from earlier, so now I got to redraw all my damn lines. So you can see the touch of the trend line there, touch of the trend line there. Okay, so we're still valid. And then we just look for a resistance zone off, see the top of these confluence zones right there off of those candles right there. Bam. And that's how it's done, guys. That's how you train your eyes to look for targets, look for resistances. You just draw trend lines and see what matches up, because you can see that trend line here, these two touches here, and almost touches this one here, but look at the rejection here off of a back line. And then we fell back to a support zone. Bam, right there. Move that up a little bit there. Okay, so now you can see there, right there, and then, oops. And then support touching those candles right there. Now we're touching these support candles right here again. And it looks like we just got a little wick or so, just a little bit of price below it, but the overall structure held. So this was a good buy zone. Voila. Okay, so I'm still sticking to the targets here for from the original call. Let's see, right here between 555 and 603, which is I think what I mentioned earlier. And I like to see probably something up here close to this top of this channel again to reject, and then that'll might be game over for Ren. And then if it's weekly matches, thetas, so then that'll put theta or Ren probably right here off of, no, I'm sorry, excuse me, probably right here off of one of these candles. So after rejection off of the upper part of this channel up here, if this follows the same algorithm that theta is in, I would expect Ren to pretty well be game over, and then we won't hear from it for, see, this is weekly, probably 3 months. So this looks very plausible, and this is still playing out very nicely. Appreciate it, Satoshi. Glad we're still on the same page with our targets, man. It's crazy how we are just right there with each other, and we don't even have to look at each other's charts to know that we got the same target, using two completely different trading styles. Okay, so I think alt requests, musclehead. Let's see, what else did you have? Okay, so we looked at RVN. I don't want to take up too much time looking at 3 more charts, so I'll probably just post these, but we got Raven in there. Yeah, so Musclehead, this one's for you. This looks like a textbook Adam and Eve pattern. So this looks like it could very well start testing up here closer to 500. The breakdown point would be right here, sub about 350. Now, I know that's probably like a good 10% drop. Oh, 7%, 6%. So this is about where I would consider putting a stop loss if I were you, because if this fails to hold right here, turn that green, okay, because the bottom of these candles matching the tops of these over here, matching the tops of these over here. We want to see this hold as the support resistance flip, which looks like it did right here already. So failure to hold above 350, and then this could turn bad. But if this were to respect, it'll do something like that. So it's not a bad swing trade. Let's look at the daily one more time. Okay, look at the daily. It's got a candle. Look at the candle body. It's I mean, it's a small little doji, but it's over the 100-day moving average. So we want to see the 7-day right here. We want to see that green line over the 100-day moving average, which is that pink line, to really consider that still an upward strong bull trend. Otherwise, I don't know, I gotta start deleting lines. Otherwise, if there's a stronger rejection and this falls below the 7-day moving average, is going to curl hard down, and fall back to the lower 300s. But as it stands right now, it looks like a pretty decent swing up until about that 500 mark there. It's 33%, so it's still got some legs, still got some room to go. But again, that is a swing trade. Okay, guys, I mean, that's all I got, unless you guys got some more requests. So I'll give you guys a minute or two, to give a shout out or something if you guys want me to look at a coin. Oh, Twitch, I'm so sorry. Hold on, let me go look at GBPJ. There's a Y in there somewhere. PY. GBP, JPY. And I'm guessing you're on Onato. Alright, so you're looking at some Forex, looking at the British pound. Oh, look at that. Okay, so this looks pretty decent right here. I'm not going to rule this one out, but I don't think it's ready for a push either. And I'd also be careful shorting that. So you're maybe got 1% before it starts testing this 100-day moving average. So this was a nice first push. You can see the rejection right there off of the 200-day moving average. But now we got 1, 2, probably like 6 days worth of candles holding over the 100-day. So if this does not break, this could get that nice little push back up over. Let's see, so this is 12 hour. Let's see if the weekly backs up a push. Ooh. Look at that. 3 weekly rejections right there. This has to get a push like hardcore bad, or this is going to get ugly too. Because this is showing a rejection under the 20-day moving average. Oops, nuts. I don't like that. I don't know, man. Twitch, are you in a position on this yet? Or, I mean, if you're still in here, I don't know if what time it is in your area. You might be asleep. This could very well also do this right here, though. Maybe I would probably bring that down a little bit deeper, because I would, if this is gonna dip and get the support resistance flip, it'd be back down here at about 130. But that would also be rejecting it below the 100-day moving average right there. However, the MACD doesn't look that bad right here either. It looks like it's going to do the same as the price. Come down, come up, and then reset again, and then kind of just wiggle its way. So the price would do the same and hold within this curve right here. If it stays up here above the 100-day moving average, up above 130. 2 week. It doesn't look that bad either. 2 week looks pretty bull, so that would back up that case of holding up here above right here. Yeah, Twitch, this needs to get a little bit more buying pressure before that next 2 week candle, and this could round out and push that up bull on those lower time frames to hold up here above 130. But you are, hold on, let me drop to the 5-minute chart, because you're a freaking silicone scalper, dude. Ooh, God, that's ugly. Okay, now I got that straightened out. Okay, there looks to be a massive failure right here to break this heavy confluence zone. That is a lot of confluence right there. I mean, just Jesus, look at all those candles in this zone right here, and it looks like it's failing to break it. So I can certainly see this rounding off and coming back down to test that 130 mark, as I noted. So that looks to be about the play right there if you're trying to scalp this. I don't know, that 15-minute could push back up over there too. Okay, so if you guys are paying attention how I'm flipping between different time frames, I do this to get an overall bias of market direction. So I look at high time frames to see overall trend. I flop between middle and low time frames to see for better entry and exit points, and to see if the higher time frame backs up the lower time frame trends. So if I'm looking for a good swing, then I'll start at the weekly, and then I'll drop back down to about the hourly to look for a good entry and to see the overall low time frame trend, to see, okay, well, I can maybe wait and get a little bit cheaper, or this looks to still be in a good uptrend or whatnot. So it's got to get over this confluent zone right here, Twitch, to consider bull. Yep, it's got to get over about this 132 mark right here on the low time frames, Twitch, to continue a push. Otherwise, this is just going to kind of round out and scrape that 130 mark. It looks ugly, really, to me. Okay, so I want to hear from some of you guys. If you guys got a request, something you want me to look at, or maybe a TA question that you don't understand, and you need, you know, you got a question on something. If not, I'm gonna go take a little power nap. Let me check some of these again right here. O&T is still very strong looking. I want to catch down here for O&T. Waves, what are you doing? Waves looks like you got a little bit of a push right there. When you're just gonna do your own thing, whatever. Okay, guys. Well, if that's it, then I'm gonna hop off here and I'm gonna go take a nap or something. Peace and head grease.